What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update going into the last 24 hours of Tottenham news. We're going to start off talking about some transfer rumours, and first up is about Wito Suzuki. Bold are reporting, and they're a Danish publication, saying that Tottenham are considering a £15 million euro move for 22-year-old Japanese striker Wito Suzuki. Suzuki has notched up 11 goals and 9 assists in 30 games across all competitions for Brøndby this season in the Danish league. I've never seen him play, I'm not going to lie, but I've been doing a bit of reading into him. He seems like a very technical player. With good ability, but very much a non-physical player, very small.
Well, yeah, I've seen he's like 5'9". He doesn't seem to be like, in terms of when I see pictures of him, doesn't seem to be the most physically strong, like, kind of striker, which is maybe what a lot of fans are asking for in terms of like someone in the mould of an Ivan Toney or a Dominic Solanke, something like that. So I don't know if he fits that. We know that Ange does know the Asian market very well, and I'm sure he's got a lot of reports on him. I'm sure he knows a lot about him. So it'll be interesting to see if he's the kind of player that we are going for. But I can't say I've seen too much of Brøndby this season. I can't say I know too much about Suzuki. All I know is I've heard he's very swift.
Moving on, let's talk about Santiago Gimenez now. And HITC understand that Tottenham have made final with Santiago Gimenez their top attacking target for the summer window. A new forward and midfielder for their starting 11 are emerging as their priorities. And in terms of Santiago Gimenez, we've spoken about him loads over the past year. Strong, physical striker, good in the air, good with the ball at his feet, definitely knows where the back of the net is, been scoring bundles of goals for Feyenoord this season under Arne Slot. So I think he's definitely an upgrade on what we have.
And still quite young as well, so got a lot of potential. Got a lot of potential to grow. So he's at a good age. We're getting him at a good time, I would say. And obviously he's performed quite well in the Champions League as well this season. So that is definitely something when you're looking at a striker in terms of the. People say, oh, he's only playing the Dutch league. Well, you look at when he does kind of move to the Champions League when it's a higher level, he still performs quite well. So clearly he's a striker on the up and he's growing a lot. Depends how much he's going to cost, but I definitely think he would be an upgrade in the number 9. He will definitely be more of what we want, but it's whether we're going to stump up the money.
Yeah, there has been actually concerns about him on the international level for Mexico, because there were concerns from Mexican fans saying why doesn't he not score with regularity for the national team? I think he's got 4 goals in just over 20 appearances or something like that. And there were concerns from the fans of the Mexican team, so maybe that's something to keep an eye out. Yeah,
fair enough. I haven't really seen much of him on the international stage. But maybe he's still young, so maybe hasn't quite translated on international level yet, but it still has time to.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Morgan Gibbs-White, as the footy insiders say that Tottenham have held discussions over a transfer move for Morgan Gibbs-White from Nottingham Forest this summer. We know that they are struggling with the PSR. We know that they probably need to sell before June, and this is just a classic Daniel Levy move, isn't it?
And it's definitely another move where, a bit like Gallagher, there's no smoke without fire, it seems. This one continually comes to the fore, and obviously we've heard reports that Tottenham are definitely looking to take advantage of clubs who are struggling with the PSR and take full advantage of them having to sell, and Gibbs-White would definitely be in accordance with that. And we know we're struggling with homegrown quota as well. He's the type of player that we would be looking at in terms of improvement to the squad, homegrown, and improves the quality as well. The only thing is, how much is he going to cost? So is it going to be 40 million? Then I think it would be worth it. But he's not a position we're desperate for. That's the only thing I'm thinking. So as much as he's a good deal, I wouldn't want us to spend 50 million on him and then later in the window we're thinking, oh, we can't sign a quality number 6 because we don't have the money or anything like that. So I want us to be smart about it, but I think it's a good deal.
Yeah, but you know what? There could be some workings in the background. We know that Ange wants to make a lot of changes to the squad. There could be players outside the box that could be leaving this summer. I mean, I don't want to put any names to it because I don't have any information or insight into it, but there could be some surprise exits from the club in that position this season. So maybe that's why we're looking at it.
Maybe. Or if there are some, if maybe, I don't know, Decky's leaving, or I don't know, someone else, then maybe that is going to be a more priority position. Obviously, Lo Celso is probably leaving anyway, so a backup to Maddison and someone who can fill in a few different positions is not needed. But it just depends how much money we're going to spend. Like at the end of the window, I don't want us to like skimp out on a number 6 or skimp out on a forward. But then, they justify it by saying, oh, look, we spent 45 million on Gibbs-White. What do you mean skimping out? Well, I'm saying he's not a massive priority. So I don't want us to commit massive funds to him if it's going to take away from anyone else.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of Heung-min Son, let's talk about Sonny now, as Sung Mo brought us the news that Son has won Best Footballer in Asia 2023 for the 7th year in a row. So this is basically the Asian Ballon d'Or. He picked up his award yesterday. 9 times overall he's won this in 7 consecutive years, like I said. The award started in 2013, so there's only actually 2 years he's not won this award, which is mad to think about.
Who did win it those years, I wonder?
Okazaki won it when Leicester won the title. And who else won it? It was Honda in his first year, or in 2013 when he was playing for CSK Moscow. This year, Kim Min-jae came second and Cristiano Ronaldo came third, playing for Al Nassr out in Saudi Arabia.
I'm confused then. What's the criteria?
I guess the criteria is either playing in, I don't know, is Saudi Arabia considered as Asia?
Yeah.
So it's playing in Asia or being of Asian nationality.
Playing in Asia or being of Asian nationality, that's the criteria. Okay, that's very confusing. Very odd. But all right, but Sonny definitely deserves it because he's been class this season, had a really great season. Obviously, Kim Min-jae, his move to Bayern Munich hasn't quite worked out, has it, so far? There's rumours of him leaving, but we'll see about that. Obviously, Ronaldo is banging the goals in Saudi, but it is in Saudi. So, well played to Son. More recognition.
And there's some quotes from him, and he says, to be recognised as the best footballer in Asia for 2023 is a huge honour and I'm extremely proud moment for me and my family. To collect this award again is an incredible feeling. I'll keep working hard to improve, and I hope I can lead by example to all the aspiring footballers across Asia. It's been an amazing journey so far, and I'd like to thank everyone who has helped me along the way.
Let's get him a European Ballon d'Or. Let's get him a European Ballon d'Or. Come on, Sonny.
When Spurs win the Champions League in 2 years' time, he'll win it.
Exactly.
Spurs Under 21s, let's talk about them now, as they lost 4-0 in the cup final yesterday against Fulham at Craven Cottage. I watched the first half and it was not the greatest display, let's put it that way. I do believe there was a few players carrying injuries, like Jamie Donnelly, who went off early in the last game. Maybe he was carrying something in this game, because no one seemed to play at the levels that they've been doing all season, really. And the women's lost in the cup final 4-0 last weekend. The under 21s losing in the cup final 4-0 yesterday. But I guess the players do have a chance to rectify it, because they got the PL2 semi-final at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday against Chelsea.
Yeah, but it does seem I think maybe they're running out of steam a bit recently. I feel like the under 21s. Look, for me, it's whether they win or not doesn't matter too much, because these trophies are a bit inconsequential in terms of winning them or not. It's just more at this level. It's more about progression, how they're playing on a regular basis, how they're performing. It's not necessarily winning the trophies. It doesn't really matter. But in terms of the under 21s, definitely recently they've been getting away with it a bit, in terms of, against Liverpool they gave up a 3-1 lead and had to win it late on. Against Nottingham Forest they were 3-0 down, had to come back and win 4-3. So there's definitely been elements recently where they've been conceding lots and lots of goals, and their attacking talent has been getting out of jail. And maybe on this occasion, with Donnelly out, as you say, and
he was playing.
I mean, he was injured. He went off early, you said.
He went off early in the previous game, but he actually played the majority of the game this time. Okay,
so I don't know if he was fully fit, or maybe some of our forward players weren't on it. And then when you're conceding the level of goals they've been conceding recently, that's what happened. So it's a massive shame, but is what it is.
Yeah, in the last game as well, Dorrington did go off, which looked like quite a serious injury. And it's a shame for him, because he's only recently come back from an injury a couple of months ago, quite a serious one at that. And the defence just looked all over the place, conceding 3 goals in that first half. But on a positive note, Jude Sunsot-Bell, Will Lancashire and Jamie Donnelly have all been nominated for PL2 Player of the Season this year. Jude Sunsot-Bell playing 21 games, scoring 10 goals and getting 5 assists. Will Lancashire played 21 games, scoring 20 goals and getting 2 assists. And Jamie Donnelly playing 19 games, scoring 6 goals and getting 14 assists.
Fantastic. And we obviously wax lyrical about how amazing they've been, and great for them to get recognition. Let's just hope they take advantage of this platform, and they have a really bright future. I'm really excited what the future holds for those 3 players.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's finish off talking about Ange Postecoglou's press conference. Quite some interesting quotes coming out from it. Do you have them there?
Yeah.
So let's go through them.
Well, the first one I guess to talk about was he was asked about Tuesday night and if he felt any what he felt on the sidelines. He said Tuesday was the worst experience I've ever had as a manager. What he said, once he realised that he got the misjudged the situation with the fans and that some were actually rooting for Man City, he had a real anxiety that if Spurs had took a hiding, his integrity would have been questioned. So he's kind of worried that people would have thought he threw the game if Tottenham actually took a massive battering 4-5-0. I mean, I don't know if that actually would have been the case, but maybe when it comes to like Arsenal fans, they would have been like, oh, he threw the game.
I mean, Arsenal fans think Sonny threw that chance.
Yeah, true. So I don't think he's thinking of that, though. He's probably thinking, will journalists have called his integrity into question? Because, narratives build and then he gets asked these questions. And would that have a narrative been formed if he doesn't answer those questions in a manner that definitely dispels any notion that, he was obviously looking to win? So I understand the anxiety, but I don't think it would ever really have happened.
I don't think it would have been questioned by anyone of authority. I think maybe it would have been joked about on social media and stuff like that. But I think that's probably the extent of how far it would have gone.
I think so. He was also asked on, he was asked about his insistence that, fans would want the Spurs to win on Tuesday and how he felt about him insisting that. He said, I hold my hands up. I got it wrong. I was here the day before the game and I was sort of mocking the whole thing. But he kind of admits he was maybe wrong about the situation and maybe more fans felt differently to what he assumed. So that's quite interesting. I mean, obviously he's not apologising or anything like that, but he does say he did misjudge the situation. He kind of thought it was a big joke at the time, and obviously some fans generally did feel that way. So I mean, it's not. He's not really saying anything in terms of whether it's right or wrong to feel that way. But interesting to hear him just acknowledge that. Yeah, he holds his hands up that he did misjudge it.
Yeah, and I think that was the case. There's not really much to take from it. The fans are going to feel like the way the fans are going to feel. He's going to feel the way that he's going to feel, and I completely understand where he's coming from. But maybe he's starting to understand a little bit where the fans are coming from.
Yeah, I guess. And the other point he was asked, first of all, he was asked, has any of the issues been resolved that he talked about? He said no, the inside issues haven't been resolved in 2 days, which is, I think, completely fair enough. And he was asked, asked about using the false 9 against Man City. He said, there's a misconception about me that I've only got one plan. I've probably used every formation there is and every system there is going over the years, usually many in one game. And that is obviously a common criticism of Ange. One, he's got one way of playing, doesn't have a plan B, all this kind of stuff. So he's kind of firing back at those suggestions.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him change it up and maybe use different systems and use different players in creative solutions throughout the season. Maybe when we've been struggling at certain points in the season, which hasn't happened. It's taken until the second last game for us to see this. But it's actually positive that we have seen this in terms of looking forward to next season. Yeah,
and let's hope when because next season, don't get it twisted, as much as he's had a lot of leeway this season, I'm not saying it all completely goes out the way next season, but pressure's going to be on a bit. He needs to start really performing, getting some consistent results, and showing that we can start competing for big things. And we want to see real consolidation of top four, real in terms of trophies and stuff, but like going far in the cups and stuff like that, not going out early in the cups like we were this season. So we need, as much as he's got a bit of leeway this season to just play the way, keep sticking to one way to ingrain it in the team, it's going to be different next season. So I want to see more of that flexibility.
Absolutely, and we just need to keep seeing progression year on, year out, and if we do have these kind of runs with 3 losses, 4 losses in a row next year, it will be very much a cause for concern. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Next year is all about consolidating our place in the top 4 and doing our best to go get a trophy that this club is desperate for. So yeah, interesting quotes from Ange. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you make out of them? Is it much out of nothing, or is Ange saying something there that you can actually take something away from? And let me know your thoughts about the transfer speculation as well. Would you like to see Santiago Gimenez and Morgan Gibbs-White through the door at Tottenham this summer? Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.